So this kind of bleeds into gaming talk, but I figured it is big news in this in general, so we're going to cover it here. So Spider-Man and Wolverine games are in the same Earth/universe.
Yep. It's going to be massive. So basically, if you guys have a finger on the pulse at all when it comes to Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Marvel games at all, Spider-Man 2 is out there absolutely murdering everything that's out there right now. They're getting a lot of traction. The fact that there's so many, they're bringing in artists to make new suits for the game. Venom's involved with Spider-Man 2. I will say that putting the Spider-Man and Wolverine games in the same Earth/universe, a lot of people don't realize, but both Spider-Man and Wolverine have been Avenger members. So maybe we get what the Avengers game was supposed to be by combining, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and whoever else they decide to put in the universe. There is also talk about there being a Venom spinoff because there's so much hype behind Venom being in Spider-Man 2. There is talk. I think it's pretty much, hey, we want to do this. The word on the street is we want to give the fans what they want, which is a very, 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 tried to be practiced in the gaming world, but hardly ever hits the mark. But when you come out before the game is even made and say we want to listen to the fans, I think it says a lot. The Spider-Man games are incredible. If you haven't gotten to play them, go grab a PS5 for Spider-Man 2. If not, you can actually get the first Spider-Man on your PC through the Epic Store. You can play them and let us know what you guys think. Wolverine game, I don't think there's a firm release date. I think it's like late 2025 or early 26.
They've been teasing it for a while, though. There's a lot of teases out there.
Yeah. I think the fact that they have such a great engine to work with the Spider-Man games. It's the same studio, so that helps a lot. But they have a nice foundation to work from, and I think once they bring, I think that's why they brought Venom in right now. Because if you look at how Venom moves and the swiping and all that stuff, yeah, it's kind of Hulkish, but if you look really closely, he's slashing like he's got claws. So I'm wondering if they're trying to kind of play with the dynamics and the physics and stuff like that, and the moves, trying to see what they could work in for the Wolverine games as well, see what doesn't work. And that's just kind of how the minds work over there at Insomniac. They're very, very, very analytical beasts, and if they get a chance to test something in a previous game, then they can work into the next one. They are very good about doing that. So I think with the introduction of Venom and then talking about the Venom spinoff, I think the Wolverine game is going to be awesome. I'm glad it's in the same universe, but why say that it's in the same universe? And that Venom spinoff has been said to also be in the same universe. Why put all these characters in the same universe and not put them together? So, yeah, looking forward to that. That's an awesome announcement. I think it's going to make all the difference in the world when it comes to the Wolverine game.
Makes me kind of want a PS5.
Are we going to bleep something? Or we're going to bleep? Can you bleep?
I can bleep.
What the fuck are y'all thinking making people pay for a fatality?
$10. Is it $10?
$10 for a fatality. That's really just a redo of Reptile's fatality. It's not even an original fatality. It's now you can do Reptile's fatality with a pumpkin. Get out of here. What? Who? NetherRealm Studios, how dare you? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure the CFO or whatever is sitting there going, oh man, all these games out here are got microtransactions. We should capitalize on it. That's fine and dandy. But for a fate,
not even a character.
Paying to dribble the ball.
Yeah, like characters would make sense. Like, yeah, if you're gonna
they got the combat packs.
Yeah,
they could have threw it in a combat pack with a bunch of Halloween skins. But no, they literally said we're going to charge you 1,200 whatever gems to perform this fatality that's been around for 12 years. But we're going to put a pumpkin on it, so it's okay. It's different. It's different. How dare you? And if anyone comes to me in the comments, you paid for the fatality, and you're just trying to defend yourself. Oh God, when I saw that, Jasper posted it, and I said, yet again, I stand by my case. NetherRealm Studios made MK1 as a money grab. Period.
It's seeming that way. All I have to say right now is WWE, AEW, NWA, all you guys need to be ashamed of yourselves right now.
He took the line. He took my line.
Because Impact basically came in here and owned the place that weekend. And they put on Bound for Glory is their WrestleMania. And I honestly feel bell to bell, yeah, they may not have the spectacle that WrestleMania has with the pyros and the lights and all the glitz and glamour. But bell to bell, Bound for Glory was better than
the last. I'll say it for you. The last 5 WrestleManias.
Yes.
The last 5 WrestleManias. The Speedball Ospreay match by itself.
Dude.
By itself was a top 10 all-time match. Period. And I don't care what anybody says. There's people talking about not selling hard enough. Don't get me wrong. If you've watched a lot of WWE, you're used to hard sells. Don't get me wrong. You're used to hard sells. This match was absolutely, as a casual fan, it blew my mind. And it started so fast and it didn't stop.
They put on a clinic. They put on. If anybody's like, what is pro wrestling? What should pro wrestling be? What's I never watched pro wrestling before. Give me a match. I would give them the Will Ospreay versus Mike Bailey match. It's going to blow their mind. But I would have them watch that match. That match.
It would sour them on every other promotion, to be honest.
And Impact, by the way. Impact,
biggest,
If you don't sign Will Ospreay.
That's the craziest part to me, is this man is a free agent, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, if I was him, I would be a mercenary for hire, just bounce to every promotion and as much as I possibly could and just drop the biggest box office. No. The minute Will Ospreay goes and does a WWE match and they let him do what he needs to do to make, they'll have to change their entire roster. WWE will not sign Will Ospreay because he works too hard. Period.
And Will Ospreay won't want to tone himself down.
And that's the best thing about it, man. Oh my goodness.
Because I can guarantee you WWE is going to be backing up dump trucks of money to him. They're going to try to sign him. They want him. I can guarantee they want him. Who doesn't want him? But like, honestly, if he's going to end up one or two places, AEW or Impact. And unfortunately, I don't feel like Impact has the money to get him.
I think AEW runs him in the ground if they get him. I think it'll be the worst thing in his career. They have such a giant roster.
Yeah, I think the opposite. I think he becomes an afterthought. I think he's a name on their roster.
That'd be the unsmart thing to do, and that would keep. Okay, to shelve him. I could see that. I see what you're going with. If they could make him an afterthought, it would legitimize their promotion more because there's not someone out there showing them up.
So Ronda Rousey has been popping up at indie shows. She's booked for Wrestling Revolver, which is Sami Callihan's promotion. And she's done a couple others. So yeah, she's doing the indie circuit right now. So people are speculating. So Sami Callihan, his contract is ending with Impact Wrestling. And he's been spotted backstage at AEW shows a lot lately. I think they're trying to work out a deal. I'm almost positive about it. So people are saying, well, 1 + 1 = 2. Because a lot of people that have been going to being appeared on his Wrestling Revolver shows lately have been AEW talent. So he had to get the okay from Tony Khan to do that. And people are like, well, maybe that's because they have a working relationship and something's going to be happening there. So the fact that Ronda Rousey is going to be appearing at Wrestling Revolver, there's an AEW connection kind of there. So we'll see where that goes.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, if AEW signs Ronda, it's like what you said with Will Ospreay. It's going to be a shelving so nobody else can use her.
Yeah.
It's 100%. Or she'll just be an appearance magnet. Because people will show up just to say they saw Ronda Rousey. Which, don't get me wrong, like, at one point, she was the baddest woman on the planet. She's been lapped so many times by so many UFC fighters. Lapped. She's not the greatest UFC. Like, she got fast finishes, but she was using judo in a wrestling or an MMA ring, so it's gonna go over really nicely until everybody figures it out. You just gotta head kick her into submission or punch her in the face enough without getting grabbed. That's all. But doing the indie circuit's great. I think every time someone like this runs out of money, they tend to jump back into something. It's not her true love.
No,
it's been obvious that it's not her true love, and if she's trying to discover her love for it again through the indie shows, that's respectful. But I think she came to WWE for the money. I think that once she found out what it was all kind of about, it wasn't really her style, and she didn't really want to do it.
I mean, she can't be doing the indie shows for the money because they're not going to be able to pay her what WWE is paying her, obviously. So
of course, but like it's still $1. It's still $1.
True.
And it's a chance to try again, maybe to see, or maybe to capture what it like. She's an athlete. Don't get me wrong. She's an athlete. And I think WWE capitalized way too heavily on her so-called striking in wrestling. Don't get me wrong, striking in MMA is completely different than striking WWE. I think if she changed the way she wrestled, like if she would get more into like the pro wrestling style instead of the striking style, like Shayna Baszler, the reason she stuck around for so long in wrestling is because she actually tried to wrestle.
We missed this, actually. So at the end of Bound for Glory, they ran a package that they alluded to announcing earlier in the show. So I heard the comment from Tom Hannafin. He said there'd be a hard to, I think he phrased it as there'd be a hard to kill announcement, and like we never heard it. So I was just like, well, maybe they ran out of time.
I think we cut it off too soon.
They ran out of time or something. But they ended up running a package where they announced that come January 2024, they're going back to being called TNA Wrestling and not Impact Wrestling anymore. Which there's a lot of people on both sides of the fence how people feel about this. I've been a fan since it was TNA Wrestling. So I think this is kind of
cool.
What
does TNA stand for again?
Total Nonstop Action.
Makes more sense.
But they got rid of it because of the other entendre and sponsors not liking that was the reason given back in the day. But the main reason Scott D'Amore says that this is happening, he's given a couple interviews since this announcement. He said, we can't run from our past, and also like everywhere we go, people are still chanting TNA. Well, the
TNA, it's when you mentioned Impact, I was like, huh? And you're like, oh, TNA Impact. I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so he's like, especially overseas in the UK market and stuff like that. He's like, people still refer to it as TNA, and he's like, it just makes sense. And I agree with him. I see where they're going with this. He also said this is going to come with a new look and a new set, so I'm excited for that. That's the
one thing I had a little bit of issues with. There was like a 5-foot ramp. I was like,
yeah, but some of it's logistics. Some of it's just like the space you have to work with.
100%.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what this looks like in 2024, and I'm excited for TNA Wrestling coming back. Will Ospreay has said in an interview, like when he heard the news, he felt he's like, I got giddy like a kid again. He's like, because like TNA Wrestling is what made me want to be a wrestler.
Come home, Papa.
And I'm like,
home.
That's my thought. I'm like, well, that's true, Will Ospreay. Come home. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of people who are super excited about this, and I am one of them. So PCO resigns with Impact because the first wrestler to be a TNA contracted employee. They're definitely keeping him around. And he said, Scott D'Amore said in an interview that, so he said that we sat down with PCO for 5, and it took us 5 minutes. He's like, the first thing out of PCO's mouth was, I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to leave. And Scott D'Amore said, well, let's figure out how to make that not happen then. And they did a handshake deal, I guess, prior to Bound for Glory, like a month prior to Bound for Glory. And the contract was just finalized at Bound for Glory. So PCO is not going anywhere for a long time. He hinted that it's about a 5-year deal.
Go wrestle till he's 60.
Watch
Bound for Glory.
So the second wrestler to sign a TNA wrestling contract and not an Impact Wrestling contract was another person they found in the UK. His name is Leon Slater. Much like Harley Hudson, I don't know much about Leon.
He's okay.
You've seen some stuff on the internet about him.
He's okay.
He seems like a Leo Rush type of guy, similar sort of style and stuff like that. Which
he's super young too. They're gonna develop him how they want to.